So I ended the year with another Jodi book, Mercy. And I don't know, does it mean something? I always think it means something. I ended 2020 with a book about an affair, about cousins, about one cousin having an affair on his wife and the other cousin putting his wife who has cancer out of her misery. Maybe we were putting 2020 out of its misery. Maybe that's it. I don't know. So much to unravel, but are we not used to this yet? Those of us who read Jodi, we know what we're in for. It's a roller coaster ride. The ending is so satisfying. I have so much to say. I don't want this to be like a half-hour video. I'm going to try to wrap this up in under 10 minutes. The Amazon blurb. This book came out August 8th, 1996. So it's been a while. It was only 353 pages. That is a short Jodi book. By far, that is a short Jodi book. Two cousins are driven to extremes by the power of love as one helps his terminally ill wife commit suicide at her request, and the other becomes involved in a passionate affair with his wife's new assistant. People have been rough. You people that leave comments on Goodreads and Amazon about this book. Of course, it was back in 1996. You were harsh. Not that I didn't understand some of it, but I think as you read her books, we know what to expect. If this was one of your first books that you've read by her, maybe you were just taken aback by it. I am used to her now. I knew what to expect. Let me go through these characters. We have, because what we know about Jodi is she will dive into these characters so intensely that by the end of the book, you feel like you are a relative. I was going to say a friend, but I feel like I know them more than a friend. We have Cameron McDonald. He is the chief of police. He is the one who cheats on his wife, Allie, with Mia, her assistant. The one thing that I thought about Mia, if I'm going to say any criticism about Jodi's book, is that usually by the end of them, I really understand them and I can forgive them and I can see their point of view. With Mia, I wasn't so sure that I could see where she was coming from. She was having an affair with her boss's husband. And as much as I wanted to feel compassion for her, I didn't get there with her. Not that I was being critical of her decision. I didn't feel compassion. I wanted to feel a little bit more for her. I guess that's the point. I wanted to feel a little bit more for Mia. We have Jamie. He has a wife who's terminally ill. She asks him to, I'm going slow because I don't want to give this away. And I'm like, is this in the very beginning? It is. This is not a giveaway. He ends up smothering her with a pillow. She has terminal cancer. We feel for him. The whole book, because it's about the trial, he comes clean about this, Jamie. He comes to Cameron, his cousin, who is the chief of police. That day, he brings Maggie to him and says, I just murdered her. She was dying of cancer, and he turns himself in. I was like, oh, what are we going to do with this? What do we do with this story? We go through the trial because Jodi loves to take us through these trials. I was thinking about my mom. Both my parents died of cancer, but my mom I was with for her last almost total 3 months. And I was thinking about the end. When it comes to cancer patients, I was keeping her alive with morphine, and then I was killing her with morphine. It wasn't brutal, right? I didn't smother her with a pillow, but I have to tell you, it was in 2011. I wake up in the middle of the night, wonder if she forgave me for what I had to do for her. It's a tough position. She was still really with it up until the very end. I am feeling for Jamie because he wants to put her out of pain. I wanted to put my mom out of pain so bad, and I knew with every dose of morphine, I was putting her out of pain, but I was also putting her closer to dying. I always thought, is this her last dose? Is this the last dose I'm going to be giving her? And after she died, I went through a lot. I went through a huge emotional breakdown. I understand where Jamie is coming from, and the trial is intense. Let's go to Cam. Let's go back. And I have a grandson named Cameron, so I like that. Did I feel compassion for Cam? So he has an affair with his wife's assistant. They don't have children. They don't have a great marriage, obviously. What I'm feeling for Allie, his wife, who owns the flower shop, has a business, gets involved in Jamie's trial, starts helping Jamie out, and you're feeling for their marriage, because those of us who have been married, we get it. You drift apart. What do? You have so many expectations. She had expectations and she wanted this perfect marriage, and she wasn't feeling it from him. He was chief of police. He was busy, but then he has time. When motivated, he has time to have an affair with Mia. The attention that he's not giving his wife, he's giving to Mia. Where do you go from there? And I'm not going to tell you whether they stay married or get divorced, because you need to read the book. That's why. Because Jodi books are that much fun, because she takes us there and she says, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay with this man? Do you even want him back? Maybe he doesn't want to come back, and are you good with that? And then do you feel any compassion at all for Cameron, who's not paying attention to his wife, but all of a sudden has a lot of time to pay attention to Mia? What do you do with these characters? I am going to tell you my favorite quote in this book. I have thought about this quote over and over again. Her books are always filled with quotes, but this one I couldn't get out of my mind, and you'll understand when I tell you. The first person you fell in love with stole your heart. The first person you made love with stole your soul. And if these were one and the same, you were damned. And that's the position Allie was in. That is not the position I was in. But I get this. As I was reading it, it's harsh. It's harsh, Jodi. But Jodi loves to tell us the truth. That is the one thing. And I don't know which book I am on with her. I love this book. I'd love to say to anyone who left a bad review on Amazon or Goodreads, you need to read more of her books. I've read my whole life, but I feel like my reading has taken on a whole other avenue. Now I want to read all of their works to understand them as authors. If I would have read some of her books now, I think I would have read them totally different. These are books you can read over and over again and get so much out of, which I suggest. I don't have time to do that, but I suggest it for you. This book was crazy good, worth every minute, short one, because usually they're double this. So you can do this one in a weekend. Why not? Tell me if you read it. Tell me if you want to read it. I want to know. I know some of you have read it because you've asked me to read it. For those of you who haven't read it, does this make you want to read it? It's amazing. And I love courtroom scenes anyway, and Jodi does them so well. And I wanted to look up, does she have something to do? Is she a lawyer? Was she a lawyer? She married to a lawyer. I don't know, something, because they always pop up in her books. This was back in 1996. This was so long ago, but still so relevant. Thank you. We start a new year. Happy New Year, everyone. I am so excited about the books that I'm going to be reading in January. I am taking you along on my journey. I will be starting Beartown, which some of you have suggested that I read next of Frederick's. I am reading that one, Frederick Bachman. I'm going to be reading Beartown, and I can't wait. And then, I don't know, tell me what other Jodi book to read. I got a pile of them over here, and there are still so many to go, which I am thrilled about. I get to just check this one off, and that makes me so incredibly happy. Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit like, please subscribe. I can't wait to start off this new year. Until my next video.